Hi everyone, Aaron with the Kunkel Homestead here today. A little while back we did a video talking about our latest endeavor, chickens. We showed you a quick look at the chicken coop that we had ordered. Had a guy make it for us. We've been customizing it, working on it ever since. The chickens have been living in our shed and they are getting way too big to be staying in there. So we're gonna evict them and they're gonna move into the coop here today. But since we've got it mostly ready, we decided we'd go ahead and give you a quick tour, show you what it looks like now. So one of the major things we did to the coop is we converted the chicken's door from a hinge to a pulley system, and we also built this ramp because, as you can see, the coop is rather tall. They can't fly this high. They're going to need to be able to climb up into the coop. The ramp will give them that ability. And we wanted to have the door not on a hinge but on a string so that it will raise, because one, that will make it stronger against predators. They can't break that in as easily. And two, once we build the run and the chicken coop is inside fencing, all we have to do is stand outside the fence and pull a string to open up the door. We don't have to come into the chicken run every day to let them in and out. One thing we did on the windows, we added latches to keep them closed. We're going to add some trim, and we're also going to add an eye hook so that we can keep the window open. And another thing we did is we upgraded the chicken wire that was in here to hardware cloth. That's just another thing to help keep this a little sturdier against any kind of predators. On this side of the coop, previously there was no window. We kind of had wanted one. Guy didn't put one in there. Not a big deal. We just went ahead and cut a hole. This is actually the original chicken door off the front of the coop. We just repurposed that to become a window. You see we've started on some of the trim here. And just like the other window, we have hardware cloth inside to keep it secure. So for the main door of the coop, this is the door that we are going to use to actually access it. We did add a latch to keep that shut as well. We open up the door and that will let us inside of the coop. Again, this door is going to have trim on it by the time we're finished. Haven't gotten that far yet. We have started putting some of the trim on the outside of the coop, just haven't gotten to the doors yet. And inside the door, we have a threshold that we've made that we can raise and lower. And inside the coop, we have sand that's essentially going to act as kitty litter for the chickens when they're inside. Should be fairly easy to keep clean. So on the inside of the coop, you can see we've painted the walls white just to help seal the wood. We've added a couple of roosts here for the chickens to sit on and sleep on in the night. Once we get the chicken run completed, their food and water will be outside and they're not going to be in the coop, so this is just a temporary setup. We added a beam on the roof that will let us, right now, suspend their food dish. On top of the cinder block, we're going to put their waterer. Really won't need very much food or water just when they're in here overnight, but this does give us the ability to put it back in here if for some reason they did have to stay in the coop for a period of time due to a storm or anything else like that. When we put them into the coop, they're going to stay inside here for a couple of days without a break. They're not going to come out. That way they can get used to the coop. They can understand that this is their new home and they'll come back to it in the evenings without much of a fuss. So that's about the coop in a nutshell for right now. We still do have to build the actual chicken run, which is going to be about where I'm standing. It's going to come off the sides of the coop and come this direction. It's going to be about 16 feet long, give them a lot of space out here. As you can tell, we're underneath a tree. That's going to give them a lot of shade during the summer. The leaves will fall off during the winter, and that'll give them plenty of sunlight to keep a little bit warmer. We're going to have a roof over the run. The feeding, watering systems, we'll go into all that later once it's actually built. It is going to be a bit of a process still for us to get this run put together. Conveniently, there's a pandemic going on at the moment, which means we can't find fencing that we need to put the run together. We're going to have to improvise, but we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to give us a like on Facebook and YouTube, and go ahead and share this video with your friends.